The market was loud. Ships flew overhead. Vendors shouted, machines buzzed, and lights blinked in every color. The Galactic hub was the largest trading station in this part of the galaxy. Every species came here, some to sell, some to buy, and many just to survive. In the middle of this chaos stood a small alien boy. His skin was gray-blue, his clothes torn and dusty. His voice was sharp and clear as he shouted over the noise. 1 credit. Just 1 credit for my mom. She clean your toilet, please. Most beings walked past him. Some laughed, others ignored him. A few threw empty food wrappers or spare trash near his feet. He didn't move. He just kept shouting, standing on a broken crate with his thin hands cupped in front of him. The boy belonged to a species called the Vurni. They were known as trash species, low-skilled, poor, and forgotten. No one cared for them. The boy had been shouting for hours now, and his throat was dry. His small belly growled with hunger. Still, he didn't stop. He had no choice. His mother was sick. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. She used to clean the station's pipes, but after falling ill, they threw her out. Now they lived in the shadows of loading docks, cold, dark, and dangerous. Please, the boy whispered now, barely louder than the wind. Just 1 credit. Then someone stopped. Boots landed quietly on the ground beside the crate. A tall figure stood there, a human. He wore a dark jacket with dust on the shoulders and a small silver patch on his chest. His face was rough, with tired eyes. He looked down at the boy without speaking. The boy stepped back nervously. He had never seen a human this close before. They were rare on this station, quiet, private, and very strong. Most people feared them. The human didn't say a word. He just knelt down and asked, gently, "Where is your mom?" The boy blinked. You? You want to see her?" The man nodded. Without another word, the boy jumped off the crate and ran. The human followed him through side alleys, under pipes, across slippery walkways, until they reached a dark corner of the station, where machines hissed and the air smelled of rust. There, lying against a metal wall, was a woman, thin, weak, coughing. Her hands shook as she tried to sit up. The boy ran to her side. "Mom, someone's here. He wants to talk to you." She looked up, eyes red and tired. When she saw the human, she lowered her head in shame. I used to clean. I'm not useless," she whispered. "I just got sick." The human didn't move. Then, quietly, he pulled a small device from his pocket. He pressed a button, and a soft beep echoed. A door opened nearby a cargo bay from his ship. "Come," he said. "Clean this. I'll pay you." The woman's eyes widened. "You're serious? I don't joke." Slowly, with help from her son, she stood up. Her legs shook, but she followed the human to his ship. Inside, it was quiet, clean, but not perfect. The human pointed at the floor, the walls, the vents. "Do what you can." She nodded. "Thank you." As she started cleaning, the boy sat near the ship's door. The human handed him a small protein bar. The boy stared at it like treasure, then bit into it hungrily. Tears ran down his cheeks, but he didn't stop eating. The human sat beside him, saying nothing. After a long silence, the boy looked up and asked, "Why did you help us?" The man finally spoke, "Because no one else did." Back in the market, vendors kept shouting. Ships came and went, but far from the noise, inside that quiet ship, something small but powerful had begun. Not just work, not just help. A new connection, a seed of change. And it all started with 1 credit and a child's voice. Asterisk inside the quiet ship. The air felt different. Not just clean, but calm. Safe. The alien woman moved slowly but carefully, wiping panels, scrubbing the corners, and brushing the vents with her tired hands. She didn't complain. She didn't stop. Her son watched from the side, eyes wide with pride. For the first time in days, his mother looked alive again. The human sat in the pilot's chair, observing without saying a word. He noticed how the woman avoided touching anything strange. She didn't ask about the locked crates, the glowing weapons rack, or the encrypted screen showing coded maps. She focused only on what she was told clean. When she finished the first room, she turned to him and asked softly, "Where next?" The human didn't answer immediately. He just looked at her, really looked. She had worn shoes with holes, a bent spine from years of hard work, and fingers bruised from scrubbing rough metal. "You're not like the others," he said finally. She lowered her head. "We're not all beggars. We just don't get many chances," he nodded slowly. "You've got one now." Over the next few hours, she cleaned 3 more rooms. She fixed a broken panel in the sanitation pod without being asked. She even found a cracked coolant pipe in the engine bay and sealed it with scrap cloth and paste. "Where'd you learn that?" the human asked, a little surprised. "My mate was a pipe worker," she said. "He died in an accident. I watched him for years." The human didn't ask more. He simply opened a small drawer and handed her 2 credit chips. She stared at them. "2?" she whispered. "I only asked for 1. You earned it." Meanwhile, the boy explored the open areas of the ship. He found a small room filled with books, real paper books. Some showed planets and stars. Others had stories in multiple languages. He touched one gently, flipping a page like it was sacred dot. Then he heard a click. He turned around. One door had been left slightly open. The boy peeked in. The room was full of strange equipment, metal spheres, small drones, and a glowing map showing red blinking dots. It didn't look like cargo. It looked like strategy. Before he could step inside, a soft voice spoke behind. "Him? Curious?" the human asked. The boy froze. "Sorry," he said quickly. "I didn't mean to. It's all right." The human walked past him and gently closed the door. He didn't smile, but he didn't yell either. "I used to work for someone. Now I fly alone," the man said. "Sometimes I help. Sometimes I don't." The boy blinked. "You helped us." "Yes," the human replied, "because someone helped me once." Later, when the woman finished the last section, the human walked her and the boy to the station's exit ramp. "You cleaned well," he said. "Most would have stolen something. You didn't." "We're not thieves," she replied. "I know," he said simply. Then he reached into his coat and pulled out a small card, shiny black with a silver emblem. "Take this," he told her. "When you scan this on any terminal, you'll see cleaning jobs posted by me. If I'm ever near, I'll hire you again. Your crew now." The woman held the card like it was made of light. She couldn't speak, but her eyes said everything. Back in the shadows of the loading docks, mother and son curled together that night. They had food, 2 credits, and a job card with a human seal. The boy whispered, "I think he's more than a pilot." The mother nodded. "He's a man with his own rules." Then she held the card tighter and said, "And he chose us." Outside, the stars blinked, ships moved, and somewhere, across the void, someone whispered into a hidden comms channel, "He's active again. The human with the black card has made contact." The station buzzed with news, quiet whispers that moved through shadows, hallways, and data streams. The human gave a black card. "He's not just a pilot. Someone from the old files is active again." But the woman didn't know any of that. She only knew her hands were finally useful again. She and her son returned to the human's ship the next day. He had sent a signal to the job card. Cleaning needed, standard pay, quiet time. No questions, no details. When they arrived, the human greeted them with a nod. Nothing more. This time, she cleaned while the boy helped. He was quick, smart, always watching. The mother showed him how to wipe vents without breathing in dust, how to clean around exposed cables, how to listen for the hum of power before touching a panel. But what they didn't see, what was hidden was what truly mattered. Deep in the heart of the ship, behind locked doors, something pulsed. A secure room lit by low blue lights. Maps shifted on screens. Names scrolled across glass. Symbols from 6 different alien languages rotated, marked in red dot, and in the center of it all, target list dot not for cleaning, for elimination. The human stood inside this room when they weren't looking. His eyes were cold, his jaw tight. His fingers moved with purpose. This wasn't just a freighter dot. This was a hunter's den dot. The boy began asking questions. Why do you live alone? Why don't you trade like others? Why do you have a room with no windows? The human gave short answers. Honest, but sharp. Because I lost people. Because I see things others don't. Because windows can get you killed. The boy fell quiet after that, but he never stopped watching. Later that night, the ship sat silent on Dock 9 Got. The mother slept in. A corner room the human had cleared for her. Her son sat nearby, reading a book the human had given him. Galactic symbols and secret codes, beginner level. But then a noise. A soft knock dot, then another dot not at the main door, dot the sealed. Cargo hatch dot the human moved fast. He didn't open the hatch. Instead, he slid a panel open and typed a command. A small camera showed the outside. 2 Galactic security officers. Not regular patrols, these wore silver badges and red visors. Elite scan units. The human's voice was calm. Low dot he opened the hatch just a little and stepped out. His hands were empty. His face neutral. Can I help you? He asked dot one of the officers spoke in a flat tone. You took in a Vorney. Why? I hired a cleaner. She has no license. Neither do half the smugglers on this dock. The officer stepped forward. We scanned your ship yesterday. 1 locked room pinged. Red. What's inside? Private quarters. Open it. No. The moment held tension like a blade, waiting to fall. Then, without warning, the human stepped even closer and said quietly, You have 5 seconds to leave. The officers laughed at first. Then the man showed them something a small coin-sized disc with a glowing mark. They froze. One officer turned pale. The other whispered, That symbol is off record. He's tagged. They backed away without another word. And just like that, they left. Inside, the mother had heard it all. She sat quietly, holding her son close. Her eyes wide, her breath tight. When the human returned, she asked only one question. Who are you? He looked at her with calm eyes and answered softly. Someone who never forgot what it's like to be unwanted. He handed her another job card. This one had gold edges. Next time, don't knock, he said. You're not visitors anymore. Somewhere, in a deep chamber beneath the station, a hidden monitor lit up. A black symbol flashed once. A voice spoke in a cold whisper. Confirmed. The ghost agent is alive. He's recruiting. And across the galaxy, those who feared him began to wake. Asterisk, the station lights flickered. A quiet warning of old systems and buried secrets. Inside Dock 9, the human's ship stood like a shadow, silent, cold, and untouchable. The woman swept the metal floor, her hands steady. Her son wiped screens and vents, learning fast. Every day, they grew more comfortable. But comfort was a rare thing in space. And it never lasted long. The human walked into the room, holding a small device. On the screen, a job list flashed repairs, shipments, crew transfers. But at the bottom, something new appeared. Open position, crew training, conditions, trust, pay, unknown. He showed it to the woman. She stared at it, confused. "What is this?" "It's your offer," the human replied. "I already clean your ship." "I'm not offering more cleaning," he said, his voice calm. "I'm offering a path." "A path to what?" The human looked at her son, then back at her. "To something better. Real credits. Real skills. Real choice." She frowned. "I don't know tech. I don't know weapons. You know how to survive. You know how to work. The rest can be taught." She stayed quiet for a moment, then asked, "Why us?" He replied without blinking, "Because when I was younger, someone took a chance on me. I want to return the favor." Training began. The next day, it wasn't what she expected. No guns. No fancy machines. The first lesson, how to listen. The second, how to watch without looking. The third, how to speak so others listen. Every evening, the woman trained. Every morning, she cleaned. And every night, the human gave her new challenges. Lockpicking, disarming, repairing circuits under pressure. Not fast, not perfect, but honest effort. Meanwhile, her son watched from the doorway. "Will I learn too?" he asked one night. The human nodded. "When you're ready." The boy smiled wide. Days passed. Then came the test. One morning, the human handed her a black case. "Open this," he said. She did. Inside, a sealed code chip and a small vial of glowing liquid. She stepped back. "Is this illegal?" "Yes," he said calmly, "and it's also stolen." Her hands trembled. "I'm not asking you to use it," he said. "I want to know what you do with it." She stared at the vial, heart racing. Then she closed the case and handed it back. "I'm not ready for that kind of power," she whispered. The human didn't smile, but he nodded. That was the right answer. Later that night, as they ate together near the ship's control panel, the boy asked again, "Are we crew now?" The human looked at him carefully. "You're becoming something stronger." "Like soldiers?" The human shook his head. "Like people no one can push down again." Outside the ship, the shadows moved. A nearby dock exploded. Someone's cargo had been sabotaged. Smoke rose. Panic spread. The woman grabbed her son and ran for cover. But the human didn't move. He watched the fire and whispered, "They're getting closer." Hours later, after the smoke cleared, a message arrived. Encrypted, silent, one line, "We know what you're doing. They'll come for the Vorni first." The human stared at the message, then turned to the woman. "It's time we stop hiding," he said. Her voice was calm. "What do we do?" He handed her a new uniform. Gray, light, flexible. "You stand beside me, not behind." The next day, a new listing appeared on black market networks. Unknown human ship accepting non-ranked, discarded species. Payment guaranteed. Protection offered. Training included. And underneath, a single symbol, not from any army, but from the past, from the ghost agent. The station was quiet, too quiet. Dock 9, usually busy with cargo drones and loud crew chatter, had fallen into stillness. The air felt heavier. Lights flickered more often. Even the air vents made sharp hissing sounds like whispers in the dark. Human felt it first. He stood near the ramp of his ship, staring into the shadows. Something had changed. He could sense it in the silence, like a predator watching, waiting. His hand rested near his belt, fingers brushing the grip of a hidden weapon. Inside, the mother finished cleaning the medical bay. Her son sorted tools, organizing them neatly like he'd been taught. It was a normal day. Until the floor vibret. ED. Just once, then again harder. "Mom?" the boy asked. She froze. "Stay close." Then came the sound. Thump, clamp, clang. Not footsteps. Not machines. Drones. Combat drones. Outside, the human saw them first 6, maybe 7. Floating silently, their bodies black and round, each one with red eyes glowing. No flags, no ID marks. Just silent killers. They surrounded Doc 9 like shadows. Made of steel, the human didn't panic, he whispered. They found us. Inside, the mother grabbed her son and moved fast. She had trained for this moment now. She sealed the back door, covered the small medbay windows, and activated the ship's silent mode, just like the human taught her. She didn't scream. She didn't hide, She prepared, The drones opened fire. Small red pulses hit the side of the ship. Shields held, but they flickered. One more hit, maybe 2, and the hull would crack. The human dashed inside, threw open a hidden panel, and activated the ship's defense program. A blue light lit the ceiling, and an automated voice said, "Auto defense online. Please select pattern." He chose Zero Mercy. From under the ship's belly, 2 small turrets dropped out. They didn't shoot randomly. They waited. And one drone moved too close. BZZZT. A sharp energy beam cut through the air. One drone exploded. Another tried to back away, but the turret followed it. Still, 5 remained. Inside, the mother pulled open the storage bay. She grabbed a bottle acid wash fluid, meant for cleaning. Hard rust. Very dangerous. She poured it into a small metal pot, added scraps of burned gel, and lit a small fire underneath. The smell was sharp, like burned wires. She placed it near the side entrance, a trap. Then she handed her son a metal pipe. "If something gets through, you swing." The boy nodded, eyes wide but steady. The human threw open a side hatch and tossed a small, black orb flash mine. The blast blinded 2 drones. The turrets did the rest. Now only 3 remained, but one found the side door, cut through the metal slowly. Sparks flying. The mother didn't run. She stood behind the trap, holding her breath. The door hissed open. A drone hovered in scanning. Searching, it moved forward, then stopped over the boiling trap. The heat sensors activated, the acid exploded upward, burning the drone from inside. It dropped. 1 left. The last drone tried to flee, but the human didn't let it. He stepped outside, aimed a short-range plasma pistol, and fired one perfect shot into its central core. Boom. Silence. Followed. Smoke rose. The dock was a mess, but the ship stood strong. Inside, the boy hugged his mother tightly. She was shaking, not from fear, but from adrenaline. She had fought. She had won. The human walked in slowly, checked them both, and said, "You saved this ship." The mother smiled weakly. "You saved us first." "No," he said. "You are never helpless. Just unseen." Later that night, the boy looked up at the stars through the ship's side window. "We're not just cleaners now," he said. Quietly. "No," the human replied. "Now, you're crew." Then he handed the boy a small badge. It had no name, just a mark like a rising flame. "What's this?" the boy asked. "A warning to those who come after us," the human said. "That we don't run, we rise." Far away, across the stars, a black screen flickered on inside a deep bunker. A voice whispered, "The ghost isn't alone anymore." Asterisk, the news spread faster than any message ever could. Doc 9 survived a direct attack from black market drones. The attackers were vaporized. The station's security didn't lift a finger, but the human ship defended itself. And whispers began again. The ghost agent lives. He has crew now. And one of them is Vorny. It wasn't just shocking. It was impossible. No one hired the VURNI. No one trained them. And yet, here they were, mother and son, standing beside the most dangerous man in the galaxy and being treated as equals. Next day, the woman stood inside the human ship, now wearing a gray and black suit stitched with her name. She wasn't cleaning. She was standing at a control panel, eyes focused, hands steady. She was now the ship's systems officer. She had memorized every wire, every pressure line, every hidden vent. Her son sat near the helm, watching maps. He could now track incoming threats before sensors even beeped. The human taught him to read. The patterns, the little details that others missed. Together, they were no longer passengers. They were crew, and the galaxy was noticing. A summons came, not from the black markets, not from the bounty boards, not from the Galactic Council itself. A formal request. Dock your vessel. Present your new crew. The Council wishes a review. Most would have refused, but the human smiled. They've been ignoring the Vorni for years. Time they saw what happens when someone doesn't. Inside the council chamber, high above the core star, sat the galaxy's most powerful species. Tall beings with perfect armor, bright robes, data implants in every temple. Dozens of them, all seated in a circle, and in the center, the human stood. Calm, silent, controlled. Beside him stood the alien woman once, seen as Trash Dot, and her son once just a beggar. Now they stood proud. A voice boomed. Why have you brought them here? The human answered plainly. They saved my ship. They defended your station. They've earned respect. They're Vorni, another counselor said with disgust. They were Vorni, the human corrected. Now they're crew. And you? Expect us to care? The human didn't flinch. Dot instead. He pulled out a small chip, the first credit he ever gave the boy. He held it up for the council to see. This is what it started with. 1 credit, that's all they asked for. Just 1 chance. He dropped the chip to the floor. Dot. The sound echoed like thunder. Now look at what they became. Silence. Some counselors looked down. Others shifted uncomfortably. No one spoke. Then from the back, a soft voice said, "Permission to speak?" It was the boy. Everyone turned. He stepped forward, small and brave, and said, "My mom cleaned your toilets when you didn't even see her. You passed us on the streets. You let her starve. But this man, this human, he gave us 1 credit. And now we save lives." He paused, then said firmly, "Imagine what others could do if you just gave them 1. It was quiet for a long time. Then, slowly, 1 counselor stood. Dot. She was ancient. A scholar. She bowed her head and said, "He speaks." Truth. We judged too quickly. Then another stood. Dot, and another. Dot, and soon the chamber echoed with something rare. Colon respect. Dot. After the hearing, the woman and her son returned to the ship with the human. No fireworks. No celebration. Dot. Just quiet pride. Dot. As the ramp closed behind them. The human handed the woman a small black box. Dot. She opened it. Inside, a new badge. This one was different. Dot. It had 3 flames. Not 1. She looked at him. 3. 1 for you, the human said. 1 for your son. And the 3rd? He smiled faintly. For the next one we help. That night, the ship left the station quietly, sailing into the dark stars. Dot. Behind them, the council began rewriting its hiring laws. Across the galaxy, Verney children heard the story and stood taller. Dot. And far beyond the edge of the charts. Other humans whispered the tale. The ghost is building something. He started with just 1 credit and changed the stars.